Good afternoon or good day. We are back again. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from TBR Solution Sports Program. You may ask, what is TBR? TBR stands for the big R. That's all. All right. This is an abbreviation. So I'm with Shakes Manqoba Ngwenya, a former Mamelodi Sundowns and a staunch supporter of Mamelodi Sundowns. They lost. You mustn't forget that one. Shakes, let's agree if you can greet the viewers, and then we need to start with the derby. Just analyze the derby for us. What's your take?
Thanks, Saubrey, for having me on the show, and good day to our viewers as well. Yes, we had the Soweto derby, the much anticipated Soweto derby, one of the biggest games in the country, in the continent. And Saubrey, I have to say it was a very beautiful game of football, you know. I haven't said that in a while in a Soweto derby, but I really enjoyed it. It was end-to-end action. And yeah, well done to the Amakosi for rising again. Rise, Kosi, rise. Kaiser Chiefs beating Orlando Pirates in that derby. It was a beautiful game, Prasov.
It was a really beautiful game, and then I wonder what happened as far as Orlando Pirates is concerned. Remember, I lamented about the goals from both teams. I remember when we were interviewing both coaches, I think I raised this with them, that their highest top goal scorer from both sides, it's Kama Billiard and Kicking Dolly, and they've scored 6. Shaolile has scored 14. Maybe that could be the reason. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what I raised. And now, very interesting. We have been asking all the time, Mhango, he played well in the AFCON. What happened? What happened? Well, Fadlu Davids, thank you for letting the cat out of the bag. He said, although I'm not going to quote him verbatim, he said there are a number of criteria used to select players. Being disciplined, 1. Arriving early at the training, 2. He mentioned a number of things. Your attitude and all those things. Now, I think it answered now all this question that we have been asking. What happened to Mhango? Now, I'm saying this. Remember, there were reports that Mhango was seen in one of the night spots having bought the booze for 25,000, now failing to pay. And then the owners did not want to allow him to go out until he pays. That explains why probably Mhango is not playing. He's a very talented footballer. If you ask me as an individual, Shakes, I am fully behind Orlando Pirates. If a person shows ill discipline, not respecting the rules of the team, you must punish him where it hurts most, like not giving him the games. Otherwise, we are not going to see this kind of behavior stopping. I'm not saying that's what he said about Mhango, but it gave us an indication. So I don't know what's your take, and then you can give me an example during your time, during your play time, even if you don't mention players. What would happen in terms of ill discipline of players? And I'm saying this in the background that we all know, no one doesn't know this, that Cristiano Ronaldo is regarded as the highly disciplined player who works harder than the rest. Now, I always say to people, Why don't you benchmark yourself with such people? And Shakes, I want you sit down with Sihle, drill these basic things. Because it's not only talent, these basic things contribute. Today, we are saying a whole lot of things. Why Ronaldo and Messi, you know, after so many years, they're still at high level, you know? So you may tell me better. And in this country, I know Jomo Sono has been in the highest level for many, many years. And Jomo is not drinking, according to my knowledge. I may be wrong. And Jomo is not smoking. So those contributes. All right. Now, I've said that you can add Shakes. You were a player. I was not a player. I was watching on the side. So tell me about this one in passing.
Yeah, Brasobs, this one, like you said, Brasobri, you know, in football, it's actually the hard work is 70%, Brasobri, and the talent is the 30%. If you are talented and you don't work hard, you will not achieve in football. You have to be disciplined when you are a professional soccer player. You made a perfect example with Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a very disciplined, is a sportsman. That's what he does on and off the field. He's disciplined, is always working, you know, and that's what you need when you are a professional soccer player. Coming to the Gabadinho Mhango issue, I always had my suspicions that the problem is there with the discipline, you know. But obviously, the coaches will always try and protect the player and not tell us why they are not playing him. But just reading between the lines, I knew that there's a problem there with discipline, you know. When you are not playing Prasobre and you feel like and you think you deserve to be playing, I mean, we saw him. He scored a beautiful. His talent is undoubted. We saw what he did in the AFCON in the biggest competition in the continent, you know. So we are not doubting his talent at all. We know what Gabadinho Mhango can do. I'm sure, 100% sure that Fadlu Davids and Ngugazi, they know what Gabadinho Mhango can do. But you always have to set a benchmark when you have a football team. You have to set a benchmark, you know. You can't treat other players special. So if there's a player who's ill-disciplined and not doing what the other players are doing or what the other players are supposed to be doing, you have to set an example, you know, to the rest of the team that complacency will not be taken lightly, you know. Everybody works hard for a position in the team and everybody must be treated the same. So I think that's the situation with Gabadinho Mhango at Orlando Pirates. That's a very talented player, but he needs to fix his off the field antics, you know. His discipline off the field leaves quite a lot to be desired. So without speculating much, because I don't know, I just believe that the coaches will always try and protect the player, especially in the media. When the media keeps asking why is Gabadinho not playing, I'm sure it's not easy for a coach to say no, but Gabadinho is ill-disciplined, is doing this and this, because it destroys the player. But Gabadinho must have self-introspection. You know, he was needed in a game like this against Kaizer Chiefs. He always rises in the big games. He scored against Kaizer Chiefs before, beautiful goals. And you needed a player like him. So I think he needs to get his act together and show that he's hungry to play for Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, you know what? I say big up to, what is his name again? Fadlu. Because remember, when things happen, they are the first people to be blamed. And then they fall on their sword without telling us exactly what's happening. As much as we are saying Shakes, I think the idea is to protect the player, but sometimes you let it go, all right? So I'm sure Pirate supporters, sometimes as I argue sometimes and say, we as spectators, we are brilliant critics, we are brilliant coaches, but we don't know what the coaches are facing. because the coaches are working with players week in, week out, just like Stuart Baxter. He knows what is happening far better than us. And me, I agree in people who are instilling discipline. Discipline is number one. If you want to win, discipline. Shakes, let's move on. Marisbeck United. What happened? What happened according to you?
Perhaps if I have to be honest, it's going to leave a sour taste, you know. But let me just rather give props to Marisbeck United. They fought hard to win that game. Special mention for Nazir Ali, who was doing a lot of defending there, who really stopped a lot of goal line attacks from Sundowns. You know, if you look at the stats from that game, you just don't understand how Sundowns lost that game, you know. And yeah, I don't want to touch too much about the refereeing, Brasobs, but both those goals, if there was VAR, Brasobri would be talking another story. There's a lot of decisions. I mean, even in the Chiefs and Pirates game, we saw a goal which looked offside, and we saw a disallowed goal which was not offside, which was disallowed for offside. So yeah, it leaves that question again: we need this VAR? You know, I know the challenges are there with our stadiums. We're not owning our stadiums. There's a lot of challenges, and the referees are human. I'm not blaming the referees, but it's too many decisions this week were decided by poor officiating. That's just the honest truth. And you know, it's bad because, you know, the teams, they work so hard during the week to plan for the weekend, and only to lose a game because of poor officiating it's not good. So I know the referees are human. They only get one chance to see a decision, and they have to make a decision, you know. So yeah, it's that question again: when are we going to be ready to evolve and be? I mean, we talk about the PSL being one of the top 10 leagues in the world. So I think it needs to show. We need to have the VAR process.
Mganam, you know what? As much as we're talking about Gabadinho earlier on, I hope SAFA is taking action against the referees who do this. That penalty against Mamelodi Sundowns, it was not a penalty. I just hope. I'm not sure about that. Because if we don't instill discipline, this kind of behavior should never stop. You are absolutely correct. Referees have one chance to look at it. Unlike us, we can see a replay and all that. Maybe VAR is becoming more and more necessary. Like you said, we know the issue is about the teams don't own the stadium, but I think we should rise above that. Football, it's a game of emotions. People die because of football. And there's a lot of money invested. Shakes, let's look at the lock. Mamelodi Sundowns is still there. And I want to say, you know, nowadays for people to say it's not easy. It's not easy to make money. They're wrong. It's easy. Money is information, Shakes. Eh? The one who has information and turn it into knowledge and implement that knowledge will be successful. Information is everywhere, even social media. I took this on social media. I think it was Facebook. All right, it's everywhere. All right, we cannot struggle. Now, Sundowns is still at the top of the lock, but I want us to talk about Royal AM. They have leapfrogged Kaizer Chiefs, although Kaizer Chiefs have 2 games in hand, and the difference is 1 point. But 1 point, 2 games in hand is not points. All right. Now, I'm interested in Royal AM. You know, I interviewed Sinki at some point. And I've been trying to ask him to come. Let's talk about the rise of Royal AM. Sinky once said in our interview, you know what? We'll surprise a lot of people. He said, I said it before with other teams. And he said, we are fighting to be in the top 8. This is our target. And look where they are now. So I want to hear your views about Royal AM. And this is a team is run by a woman, for that matter.
Yes, Prasobs, Royal AM, they definitely mean business. They've got a mixture of young players and also a lot of experience as well in the likes of Matlala, you know, and they've been consistent, you know. Consistency is the key in this league, and they've been consistent. I must say, Prasobs, they broke my heart when they scored that goal in the last minute. You know, and my nephew is playing for Swallows MTC. So if Swallows gets relegated, that means the MTC team gets relegated. So I was really rooting for Swallows to get a result there. And Pelembe, my ex-teammate, scored a beautiful goal there in the dying minutes of the game to take the 3 points. And that's one thing about Royal AM. They never say die, you know. Most of their goals are scored in the last minutes. Whether they were losing 2-0, 80th minute, they come back and they score 2 goals in the dying minutes of the game. They never die, you know. And props must be given to Mamkhize and John Maduka as a coach. You know, he's shown leadership with pushing this team this far. You know, Victor Lutswalo keeps on performing there, and you know, they've just got a mixture of good, talented players and a goal scorer as well in the likes of Victor Lutswalo. So yeah, I see them going all the way, fighting for that second position together with Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates there. They've done very well indeed. I mean, for a team that's coming from the NFD last season, it shows that Mamkhize is serious about competing in this league, and it only remains to be seen the acquisitions they will bring in also come next season, if they will spend a lot of money, but definitely they will be in the top 8 come end of the season.
You know, I still want to see a team that will emulate Leicester City in England from the lower division to being the champions. I'm still looking forward to that one day. Big up to Mamkhize and the team. Sinki Munisi, big up, guys. I think what they need to work on is bringing the supporters, bringing the numbers. Mamelodi Sundowns is doing well as far as that is concerned, but there's still a long way to go to catch up with Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. I think the leading team when it comes to supporters, that's a subjective view. People will differ with me. I think it's Kaizer Chiefs followed by Orlando Pirates. Some people say Pirates than Chiefs. But I don't know. Shakes, what's your take on that statement I've just said?
No, definitely, I agree with you. Without a doubt, Kaizer Chiefs is a big brand, and they have most of the supporters. But Prasobri, watch the space. When you ask kids today, who is their favorite team, they know the number 1 team is Mamelodi Sundowns. So I'm not saying Sundowns is as big as Kaizer Chiefs right now, but only time will tell. I mean, Kaizer Chiefs has been there dominating for a very long time in South African football, but right now the tides are changing. Just exactly like what's happening in England, you know, with Manchester United and Man City. You can see Man City now is dominating Man United ridiculously. But obviously, in terms of fans and supporters, Man United is still the biggest supported team and a big brand. You know, I just think that brand, in terms of marketing, should be transferred into the playing field. And we want to see a Man United that's competitive. I mean, what we saw from them this weekend was completely ridiculous.
You know what? Once you're still there, you're absolutely right. Mamelodi Sundowns is doing things right. I think they have all the system in place. They're coming up okay. They use people like you, Roger Fetumba, former players, to mobilize. They are coming. You are absolutely right. And then one of the teams that I'm interested, remember Amazulu is a sleeping giant. I hope Amazulu revive in terms of support. And then the Morocco Swallows too. Swallows still has a lot of support. I think the majority of Swallows fans, they've gone to Mamelodi Sundowns. And then the other team that is showing some promise is TS Galaxy. And one will be happy to see Chippa United doing well, especially a team from, Eastern Cape, that part of the world. It would be nice. And then Shakes, those are the news as far as the PSL. And then now, there's any other thing that you'd like to tell us as far as the PSL is concerned? I don't know if I can tell you, Etienne Brooks has been selected again for Bafana Bafana. Big up to the young man, a very nice young man. And I wish to interview him soon, if it will be possible. I'm very much impressed by Pepra. Pepra is doing quite well at Orlando Pirates. So I don't know what's your take. The Colombian striker, Castro, apparently his future at Kaiser Chiefs is uncertain. It is not known. What's your take about that one before I move on?
Yeah, perhaps Castro, we saw him, he went out immediately, he tried to sprint them. There was a ball he was chasing, going towards goal, and he immediately stopped, which tells you that he tore his hamstring muscle. He's just come back from a very long-term injury now this, which will take him out almost maybe another 4 to 6 weeks, depending on whether it's a tear or a muscle pull. But the way he stopped, it seemed like it completely tore. So it's just one of those things that happen in football, and I wish him a speedy recovery. You don't want to see a player go through that, no matter which team is in, no matter which team you're supporting. But as an ex-sportsman, you don't want to see a player pull off like that, and obviously it leaves that thing which is Chiefs still going to want him. I mean, after that long injury, and he hasn't had the best seasons. I mean, Chiefs hasn't had the best seasons, but yeah, they're right there on number 2, Brasobs, So yeah, it remains to be seen what will happen with Castro. And the Pirate striker we spoke about now, I think his quality, is very strong on the ball, and you can see him is starting to get used to the PSL, and I think he's still going to add a lot of value to Orlando Pirates. I really rate him high, strong, can turn on the ball, he can shoot, got all the qualities to be a top striker.
He's got all the quality to be a top striker, as you said, Shakes. There are so many news as far as the local football is concerned. Now, we hear that Tim Sugazi, remember Tim Sugazi, the owner of TS Galaxy, he's adamant that he's not happy that their case against Orlando Pirates has been postponed. He wants a speedy resolution to this matter. And remember, he's a lawyer. And then they say a case delayed, it's a case denied. But at the same time, you listen to the argument of the PSL. They want to give Pirates a chance to present their case. Remember, in law, there's what we call reasonability. All right, are you reasonability enough? Did you give somebody a fair chance? Remember, law is about fairness. Are you fair or what? So probably, maybe we need to give Pirates an opportunity to present their case, although Team Sugazi says this matter should not be subjected to a foul play or a delay. So he wants a speedy recovery, a speedy resolution on this matter. So yeah, so that's what is happening. Shakes, I don't know. Maybe we need to move on quickly. I don't know whether there's anything that you'd like to talk about as far as the local football.
Yeah, just to congratulate Ethan Brooks, for his selection in Bafana Bafana is a prospect for the future. Very good youngster, I felt sorry for him in the Sundowns game because he lost the ball, which Mudau capitalized and scored a beautiful goal, first goal, when they lost 2-0, and the coach substituted him in that game. So that might have broken his spirit a little bit, but this call-up will again energize him now to say I'm still a good player, and the Bafana coach Hugo Bruce is noticing him, so that's good for him. And I just hope a player like Lila K can be in the national team, Brussels, because in many ways is a ship. He's just quality. I don't understand how a player like him is not in the national team, because we don't have those specialists who can bend it like him, who can drive it like him, and those are elements in a game which we need, no matter what the score is, no matter what the situation is. But we get a set piece like that, you just think about him, and you know that he can put it there in the top corner. Shakes. But anyway, the coach knows what he's doing, and yeah, just to support. But I really wish that boy was in the national team.
You have said it a mouthful. Football is a total game. Remember all the time when I speak about the Messi special. Now, we need free kick specialists, and that boy is a free kick specialist. So I fail to understand why Bafana can arm with that boy. When you get free kicks, who are we going to rely on? All right. And then, so that's me, and that's my opinion. I may be wrong. But maybe the coach knows better. Remember earlier on, I said, we don't know what is happening in the background. The coach knows better. So probably some of those things we'll understand as time goes on, but we wish that Lila K can be there. The boy is so brilliant. I too wish for that. Shakes, let me move on. I'm going abroad. It is said Xavi is targeting Haaland, and he was seen having a secret meeting with Haaland. Remember that the release clause of Haaland has decreased to 65 million pounds now, as compared to what they could have paid. And apparently, Barcelona also looking at adding the Chelsea centre back, Andreas Christensen, all right, to their squad. And they also want to add Cesar Azpilicueta to the squad. And then, according to Laporte hopes that Gavi and Araujo will renew their contract just like Ansu and Pedri have done it. So those are some of the news. And then, according to the news, a reputed journalist and a transfer expert, Fabrizio Romano, claimed that Barcelona initiated talks to sign AFC Ajax defender Nazia Mazarawi, a 24-year-old Moroccan. So Laporta is a man on a mission, and then I listened to his press conference. He was talking on a number of things. Laporta, you know what, as much as I can have my reservation in the manner he handled the Messi situation, but this guy shows to be a brilliant leader. And I'm sure other leaders, especially in the soccer fraternity, they're taking notes and learning from what Laporta is doing. When Laporta took over at Barcelona, it was said, in essence, Barcelona was bankrupt. He has turned a fortune. You can see Xavi. Xavi is now having a different squad altogether. And the squad is playing so well. And they are winning. Is giving them that motivation to say, we are going to make it. And then, so yeah. So I don't know what's your take about that. What's your take about that, what I've said?
Yes, Prasobs, we are seeing Barcelona on a serious resurgence, you know, and it's just a breath of fresh air, you know, those youngsters there in the team, the Gavis, the Pedris, and yeah, a lot of work must be commended, you know, the hierarchy at Barcelona doing the right things now. They're starting from scratch and rebuilding this team. And we are seeing the results, you know. I mean, the past 5 games, you've seen Barcelona winning by a margin of 4 goals, you know, beating Atletico Madrid by a margin of 4 goals. Who would have thought, you know, with all those players who left and went to Atletico Madrid, Suarez, Griezmann, that quality, you know, but the youngsters are coming together, and Laporte is doing a good job there in the business side of things, and we can see longevity in the Barcelona team, you know, and which is just good to see that we won't be stressing for quite a while now. We'll be watching these boys and they'll be growing, and we want to see the likes of Gavi renewing their contract and staying at Barca, you know, so that something great can be built in that team. This season, they are competing in Europa. That's not where they want to be, but since they are there, they have to win that tournament. You know, this will build a lot of confidence within the team moving forward.
You know, Laporta was giving a leadership yesterday. He said, "We want to win Europa." That's a leader. You know, he didn't mix his words. Then he even spoke about Messi's situation. He said, it was one situation I was not wishing to do, but looking at the issues, I had to do it. All right. I don't know what's your take.
Yeah, Prasov, it could never have been an easy decision to let go of a player like Messi, you know, the world's best player, and a player who's grown up at Barcelona for years and years. You know, it was his home. I don't think he imagined himself playing for any other team but Barcelona. But yeah, with the high wages he was earning and the situation at Barca, I think it was adamant to happen. You know, it was bound to happen that Messi leaves. You know, and it was important that the succession after Messi be done steadily, and I think that's what's happened. You know, it's been a steady process of change. The inclusion of Xavi in the team as a team coach, I think was the best decision, you know, that could ever be made. You know, Xavi is the right person for the job. Klopp in England is the right person for that job. For Liverpool, he fits in for Liverpool. Man City's Pep Guardiola is the right person for that job. I think also, just now I'm diverting, you know, I'm thinking all these coaches have their perfect teams, and Man United, since Alex Ferguson, have not found that perfect coach for them. I think that's why they are struggling. But Barcelona, I'm happy with what's happening there, and I'm looking forward to a great Europa and great finish to the La Liga season.
You know what he said about the issue of Messi? He said that decision was a difficult decision to make, but it had to be made. And then he said he doesn't regret having made that decision. That's what he said. Those are his words. And then very good decision. But I hope, because if I read what is happening, Messi, what hurt Messi most? Laporte was not open. That's why I criticize Laporte. Was not open to him to say, look, this is the situation. He didn't prepare Messi enough. All right? Because Messi said they didn't even ask me to whether to reduce my salary further or not to earn. Do you understand? That's why I criticize him. And the other thing that makes me to criticize him on that one, he used Messi to win his elections. See, those are some of the things that worries me why Laporta did that. But let's pass there. He also spoke about the deal of Spotify. Remember, at some point, I did a show around the issue, the sponsorship for Spotify, which is a huge deal. He said that deal has not yet closed, but it looks promising. The news are looking good. And then while we are still there on Messi, Thierry Henry was quoted that he was in one of the radio stations or television station. He said, guys, you don't understand. You are saying Messi is struggling. He said, Messi is not struggling. Messi's got emotional issues. For him to make such a huge decision to leave Barcelona, the team of his life, to join another team. And then he said that had its own impact on Lionel Messi's emotions. That was Thierry Henry. He said, you guys don't understand. He said, and I remember it was not only joining PSG. When he arrived at PSG, they were not well prepared. Messi had to go and stay in a hotel. And he's not used to that environment. You know, Messi is a very shy guy who wants to be in his own space. He was staying in a hotel. I think that also played a major role in his mind. Now he went further. Thierry Henry said, it happened to me. When I left Arsenal to join Barcelona, he said it took me a year to recover because in the process, having just left Barcelona, he said, I had an injury in the first place and I was undergoing divorce. So he said, what were you expecting? Emotionally, I was not stable. And on the other hand, the public or the fans are expecting me to perform. What's your take about that? Maybe you can relate to us about that as a former player. You know, we have just spoken about mental illness. You know?
Yeah, it's a mental issue, Brasobs. You know, I can only imagine with Messi having played all his life at Barcelona and having to make a decision, and it was not a decision he took. Maybe he thought about it for a while and then he took that decision. No, it had to happen immediately. He had to go to PSG immediately and he had to acclimatize to the weather. There are so many different conditions when you look at Spain and France. There's so many different elements that he had to adjust to, you know. So it was never going to be an easy transition. And then, like you say, everybody is expecting Messi to still perform the same. It's not going to be the same. It's obviously he needs time to adjust, you know. So it's never an easy situation, like Thierry Henry says, you know. I don't think Thierry Henry was ever the same when he left Arsenal and went to Barcelona. But yeah, only time will tell, you know. I think Messi will still show us glimpse of how good he is. But we must also not forget that Messi is aging now. We can't have that brilliance forever. I mean, he's given us so much throughout the years. And he continues to do that. I'm sure next week we will see him. Is it next week or is it today, Brasobs, the Champions League? He will continue to show us his brilliance.
Oh, Shakes, I've been talking, and I wasn't aware that I was off air, man, for quite some time.
Oh,
I was definitely not aware. I was giving somebody who did a very good analysis on Messi. I'm sorry about that break. That he was analyzing Messi. He said Messi played with Ibrahimovic, Messi played with Eto, and then Thierry Henry, all those great strikers, including David Villa. And then this guy said, you know, this bending of the ball, taking it to the left and bending is David Villa's style. He said Messi is a reader of football. You'll see him doing that. He said playing with Xavi and Iniesta, he learned how to be a playmaker because Xavi is a one-touch player, contributing, giving decisive passes. Not only that, then he said with Iniesta, it's not one touch. Iniesta will take one or two players before he releases the ball, and his passes are telling. He said, if you look at Messi's play, you can see the combination of that. He said, that's how good he is. And if you watch Messi in the games, you know, he goes in, he goes deep, and you can see that he reads the game. Pep Guardiola once said, this guy, for the first 5 minutes, doesn't touch the ball. He doesn't the ball to come to him. And you'll see he's watching both sides, both sideways. He said, by that, don't underestimate him. He's reading the game. So this is the explanation that this guy gives. I don't know what's your comment about that. Again, my apologies for that mute. That was a very long mute, unfortunately. Yeah. What's your take?
yeah, Prasov, I mean, Messi is his whole career has been playing around Xavi and Iniesta, you know, and he's learned a lot from them growing up at the La Masia, playing with those guys. I mean, it's just been one motion, you know, that from Xavi to Iniesta, from Iniesta to Messi. And it's just been that whole band going on there. But now, obviously, it's different because he's getting to play with different players, something different. Those players also, they don't understand him like the likes of the Xavis and the Iniestas when he was at his absolute best, you know. But Messi is quality for me. Prasov, he's shown us so much throughout the years. And I believe he's still got something left to show.
Shakes, let's move on. On the screen, I'm showing you the highest attended games in 2022. All right? Guess what? Number one is the game between Liverpool and Chelsea. 85,512 people. 85,000. And then the second, Charlotte FC in America, LA Galaxy. Continue to say America is not a football nation. At your own peril. 74,479. The third one, Barcelona and Atletico, 74,221. Huh? Not even El Clasico. And Barcelona and Napoli, 73,525. Means Barcelona still have an impact. It's the only team that appears twice there. And then number 5, Man United and West Ham. You rule Man United at your own peril. Like you said, they're still a big force to be reckoned with. Anything that you want to say about that?
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised that Barcelona is there twice, Saubrey. They're there because they are playing an entertaining brand of football and they're reviving their football. You know, their supporters are happy. You can see those two games were both played at the Camp Nou, which is a huge stadium, by the way, and it can complete all those supporters in there. So it's no surprise to see that Barcelona is up there. I'm surprised the Man City Liverpool game is not there, but yeah, Liverpool Chelsea game, that was the final. And yeah, you would have expected it to be a full house there, and yeah, that's why they're right up there at the top.
Shakes, I'm going to the English Premier League. All right. What is important here is number 4. And what is important here, number 1. Look at it. What do you want to tell me?
Yeah. Saubrey, the number 1 spot is being highly contested. We saw Liverpool playing on Saturday and winning against a very strong West Ham team, which Moyes is the coach of. He's done a brilliant job there. And Liverpool were able to win that game 1-0. Sadio Mane scoring a goal there. But West Ham had their opportunities to score, and they didn't take them, clearing opportunities which could have changed the complexion of the game. But nevertheless, Liverpool won that game and kept the pressure on Man City, who also did likewise on Sunday and demolished Man United. What was surprising about that game is that, it seemed like Man United gave up, especially second half. They were just beaten with the work rate, the quality, every aspect of the game. Man United were bullied in the whole game, and I don't see there's no excuses for that. A team can beat you in terms of talent and the skill, but in terms of the work rate, when you are playing for a team like Man United, you always have to give your all. And they just seem to have given up. I mean, the players, senior players like the Maguires, you don't see them when the ship is sinking. You don't see them there fighting for the team. I mean, big problems at Man United.
Now, number 4, I think even from number 3, anyone can qualify there. What do you think of Chelsea, just in passing? I don't know. I saw as if Tepang was trying to join. I don't know whether he's still there, whether he's still struggling to join. From Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United. Remember, Tottenham Hotspur won 5-0 yesterday. All right?
Yeah. Tottenham won yesterday, and they I think they are 1 point or 2 points behind Arsenal, who is holding that number 4 spot. Brasobs Amegana, and I'm happy with what Arteta is doing. It's quite similar to what Xavi is doing at Barcelona. This is what Arteta is doing at Arsenal as well. The youngster Saka is just improving his game every time, and the quality of goals that were scored in that game where Arsenal won to take that 4th spot were unbelievable. It's the type of quality that we used to see from Arsenal with the likes of Fabregas. So we are also seeing Arsenal that is resurgent, but obviously that number 4th spot is highly contested. You've got Man United in the mix, you've got Tottenham, you've got West Ham, and then you've got Arsenal, who still have a number of games in hand, but they are holding that number 4 spot. So that one is going to be a very interesting one there at the top.
You know what? Very quick one. I wanted to talk about Arsenal for now. Pep Guardiola said, now look at Arteta. Firstly, Arsene Wenger said, this guy is destined to be a coach. Pep Guardiola said, when the fans were hell-bent on Arteta's case, he said, guys, be patient. This guy is a good coach. And now he's proving everybody wrong. Can we, other teams, when I say I'm not referring to South Africa only, can we learn some lesson out of here? And while I'm still there talking about that, I saw one of the reports whereby Pitso Mosimane said he doesn't mind to be the second behind Mamelodi Sundowns. He prefers to be number 2 in their log of the CAF. He said normally the team that is number 2, they end up winning. Number 1 doesn't guarantee to win. So I'm giving that why I'm bringing Pitso in, because Pitso has brought some lessons to South African football authorities, which was ignored. So I'm saying this is what Pep said about Arteta. And Pep today is saying Gundogan, out of all this group of players who are there, is the only guy who's got a chance of being a good coach. What's your take?
Yeah, it's good to see Pep already identifying his successors. You know, he's done well with Arteta. He brought him in as his assistant, and you can see he's learned a lot from the best Arteta, and it was the same with Pitso. You know, Pitso always likes to give people a chance. You know, and we can see Manqoba Shakes now who is doing well for Sundowns, but he was at home when Pitso brought him to Sundowns. You know. He's not the one who mentored Manqoba, but he saw good in Manqoba and brought him to Sundowns. So Pitso has to be commended also for being a good scout in terms of coaching. So yeah, we hope to see good coaches coming out. Like Pep says, Gundogan can be a coach in future. Only time will tell, but it's very important, Saubrey, to give people a chance, to give people time. And nothing is built overnight. Rome was not built overnight. So patience is key, especially in that position, you know. I'm looking at Moyes now at West Ham, and I'm thinking he probably was the right man for the Man United job, but the patience was not there.
I fully agree with you. You know, we are quick to disregard these guys as they try their best. Once you have just said that maybe Pitso did contribute, but I think the person who laid the foundation, credit must be given to Khabo Zondo, a good friend of ours. He's the one who laid a very good foundation on Manqoba Shakes. You know, for me to know Manqoba Shakes, it was via him. I've spoken about the story. Now let's move to the Messi special, so that we move to the next level, because I think we need to wrap up now. Shakes, as always, I'll always do this one. Messi is not competing with anybody now. He's competing with the teams, not players now. You hear what I'm saying, Shakes? Yeah, he's competing with teams. Now, the most direct free kicks since 2015, Messi has scored 22. Juventus has scored 16. And remember, part of that, Ronaldo was there. Rome, PSG, they've scored 14. Bologna and Lyon, 13. Real Betis, 12. I don't see Barcelona there. I don't see Real Madrid. So what's your take?
Yeah, he's a specialist with those free kicks. I mean, that left foot is very special. And the level of consistency when he does it, you know, throughout the years has been on another level. And that's what it takes to be the best player in the world, you know. That consistency with the set pieces is on another level. And yeah, head over heels above the rest.
Shakes, I just want to remind you and the viewers there that Messi is the first player in 2012 to score 5 goals in one Champions League game. And those were the minutes, 25 minutes, he scored the first one, 42 minutes, the second one, 50 minutes, the third one, 58 minutes, 58 minutes, the fourth one, 84 minutes, the fifth one. He's the only player. He's the only player who did that. So I'm reminding you, Shakes. I'm reminding you. Let me do one or two things about the Messi special because I'm not yet done. I'll continue to do this. Hate me for this, Shakes. I don't have a problem. I want to show you what Alex Ferguson said. Not only Alex Ferguson, Luis Enrique said about Lionel Messi. Look, these are great coaches, and they say whatever that they say about Lionel Messi. And now Peter Drury, one of the highly respected journalist commentator in England. Now let's start here. This is what Luis Enrique said about Lionel Messi. Can you see that, Shakes? Shakes? Okay, I hope you see it. He said, Messi is not just the best player in the world, but he's the best player in history. That's Luis Enrique. You know, at some point, I thought Luis Enrique doesn't like Messi because they used to have their own butts up and down. Messi even confirmed that he's very rigid, and Messi didn't like that style. So now let's hear what others said. Now you have Alex Ferguson. We know that Alex Ferguson is an through and through Ronaldo person. But this is what he said. Messi I saw 10 years ago was on the verge of being the best. The Messi I see today is already the greatest ever. I wonder what happened to Alex Ferguson, because I know Alex Ferguson was a staunch Ronaldo fan. So I don't know what changed. Very interesting. Then let me share with you what Peter Drury said, an English commentator. I like it when I hear it from the English commentators. Peter Drury said, Ronaldo is an Olympic high jumper, Olympic sprinter. His capacity for limping and scoring with his head is phenomenal. He delivers on both sides with his head, brilliant. But if you ask me if I could just watch one every day of my life, I did pick Messi. He appears to be what is impossible, weaves through spaces that don't exist. He defies physics. Ronaldo looks like an athlete, a remarkable specimen, whereas Messi is a boy next door that performs like God. Hicks, what are you saying about this?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant analogy of how I see things as well. You know, I think Ronaldo's just an athlete. He will outsprint you. He will outjump you at his prime. But Messi is just that gift that God gave a magician. You know, something special.
Shakes, I enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. Still, I'll continue to be grateful to you for your time. Take time to talk to me and the viewers out there. I really appreciate. I see that Sepang has been struggling. Thank you very much, Shakes. And once again, I want to apologize to the viewers. There was a mute which took longer than expected. Well, it's my fault this side. Remember, we are still trying to learn this technology. We'll get there. We'll get better. My apologies. I'm sure it does disrupt. Shakes, if you can be the viewers favor.
Thank you, Pastor Saubrey, for the wonderful show, and thank you for our viewers for being in. We appreciate you.
Shakes, I'm really appreciative. I see that our subscribers are climbing a little bit, which is quite good, slowly but sure. We really appreciate. Continue to subscribe, continue to like, continue to comment. Thank you very much. I thank you.